Hi, welcome to Nina in the Kitchen, where today I am making my favorite biscotti. It's an orange almond biscotti. The flavor is so good. Biscotti is one of the easiest cookies that you can put together. So I'm going to start with the dry ingredients. This is 2 cups, which is 260 grams of all-purpose flour. I'm mixing that with 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And then just mix that up just to make sure that everything gets mixed well together, especially that leavener. Next up, we shift to the mixer. This is 4 tablespoons, which is 58 grams of butter. That's room temperature, and I'm using unsalted butter. This is 1 cup, which is 200 grams of granulated sugar, and you just pour that in. This is going to mix on medium speed for 2 minutes. These are room temperature eggs because room temperature eggs will blend better in the batter. So one at a time, we'll put those in, but then after that we're doing flavors, and I wanted to talk to you about your options for flavors. This is an orange almond biscotti, so those flavors you really kind of want to punch up, but I'm also using 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I have 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, which is clear, so you probably can't see that. And an option that you can use here is you can use almond oil along with orange oil, or even an orange extract. I'm using orange zest. And if you're using a zest, I like this as a zester because you can zest and see exactly where you are because you don't want to get down to the white part. And then you keep the zest in this channel, and it's just easy to use that way. Another thing that you can use to punch up that orange flavor is, one of my favorites is something called Fiore di Sicilia, and what this translates to is flowers from Sicily. The fragrance is just incredible. You can use just a little bit of it, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon, and it will flavor cakes and pies, gelato, and of course we're using it today in biscotti, and I'm only going to use about 1/4 teaspoon there. So let's finish this up. Very easy, and actually you can do this all by hand. That's how easy it is, but I like my machines. Again, medium speed, and then 1 egg goes in at a time. As soon as that is incorporated, which is right about now, 2nd egg goes in, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, and just a drop, 1/4 teaspoon of the Fiore di Sicilia. And now, this is the zest from 1 orange, and it should be about 2 tablespoons of orange zest. 3/4 cup of almonds, skin on, toasted, roughly chopped. That's 208 grams. And we're just going to stir that up. And then next is this dry mix. Again, you can do this by hand, but all that you do is some of it goes in. I'm putting in about half. Run this on your lowest setting because all that you need to do is basically fold this in. As soon as it starts getting a little wet, I just put this on the stir setting, so it was the first setting, and as soon as you can see it's starting to get wet, the rest of it is very easy to fold in. I finished folding the flour into that batter, and now it's made this dough. We're going to make these logs, and it's best if you put a little bit of flour just on top and on your hands. That just makes it easier to press this out because it's very sticky. Okay, these have been shaped into 2 logs, and it's easiest to either flour your hands and do it or wet your hands with water and just pat them out. And these are 13 inches long, which is 33 centimeters by 2 inches wide, which is 5 centimeters. It's going into a 350 oven, which is 175 Celsius, for about 35 minutes. And what's going to happen is this will spread out somewhat, and as soon as you see cracks in the top of it, that's when you take it out. That's your cue. So 30, 35 minutes, however your oven is going to bake it, and I will see you when that happens. There they are. Now, if you can see, this has these tiny little fissures in it. This one not so much, but they're not finished baking yet. And what you're going to do is take them out, leave them in a pan just as is, and in 10 minutes they'll be firm enough that we can move them, and we'll move them and cut them on a cutting board, put them back in the oven to toast. So I'll see you in 10. Well, 10 minutes has passed. These smell so good. Now all that you need to do is slice them, put them back in the oven, and first we want to take this off of here. I have these 2 spatulas, and just kind of, oh, there we go, just kind of pry them off. These are still going to be rather fragile, so be careful. Take this one off here. Here we go. Okay, and the best tool for the job is a serrated knife. I'm going to cut them at an angle. This is going to be about 3/8 of an inch thick, which is 5 millimeters. The oven has been turned down to 325 degrees, that's 160 Celsius. Now when you put these on here, oh, see, I broke one. Try not to scoop too many at one time because they are very fragile. And this end piece is mine. You want to space these so that they're about a 1/2 inch apart, just so they have some air circulation around them. These go into the oven for 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. You want them toasty, just a little golden brown on top, and halfway through you're going to want to flip them. I do 7 minutes, flip, and then back in. Now, as you can see, I have one tray already full, and I have all of this to cut. So you can put another tray in your oven, but what I do is I have this rack that fits in my oven, and I found that the air circulation around this is really incredible. And now they all fit. Now again, this is not something that you have to do. You can use 2 pans. One tip I want to give you is that you should not throw these scraps out. These little crumbs, all the way down to these finest little crumbs, can go on things like ice cream. You can also use them if you make a cake. You can put them perhaps in the filling to give it a different texture, or even just sprinkled on top for a little texture. Ice cream, sprinkle it over ice cream. Those are delicious, just like the cookies are. So save all of your scraps from biscotti. So after 7 minutes, I'll flip these, toast for another 7, and I'll be back when they're finished. Here they are. It took a total of 14 minutes. I put it on the top third of the oven. So what's beneath it is the cookie sheet. So if there's any crumbs that drop, they'll just drop onto the sheet. Also, if you try to do something like this, just make sure that these rungs are on top rather than on the bottom like this, because that way when they come out of the oven, you just do that. They slide right off. It's great. Here are the biscotti. Now you can dip them in chocolate. You can do whatever you want. I love them just like that. That's enough sweetness for me. It's enough flavor for me.